you're well. Hope your Friday has started good. I've got some bad news, sadly, though. It's going to be very wet across the weekend. I can't butter this up for you. It's going to be mild, but very wet. It's 13 minutes past 8. And that's Madonna, Like a Prayer. It is World Kindness Day today. World Kindness Day. Simply, the question has been, since 7 this morning, what's the kindest thing anybody has ever done for you? Now, I need to relay this story. Now, I did ask Bob if he'd like to come on and say this, but sadly he couldn't. He didn't want to, and as you will hear, possibly the reason why that he couldn't do it. This happened in 1980, and it was a car crash that sadly killed Bob's father in 1980, and it was just before Christmas. And Bob's dad was a farm manager, and he had a family. And the family had to leave the farmhouse and go and live in a small council house. This is, as I say, just before Christmas. And Bob says his little sister, Nikki, who was only 8 at the time, wrote a letter to Santa. Just a letter. And it said, "Dear Santa," basically all it said is, "Dear Santa, I'd love my daddy back." And then without an envelope, she just put it in the post box, and that was it. The post office saw the letter in the postbox and handed it to the local newspaper, who then published the letter in the paper. And then one day, there was a knock at Bob's door. 2 people coming down his path. There was a small chap and a big bouncer-looking bloke. He just wondered what the hell was going on. Huge man. Who it was a bouncer. And it was the bouncer of comedian Bobby Ball. And remember, this is 1980, so Bobby Ball would have been huge at this time with Cannon and Ball. He was almost A-list. And he knocked on the door and he said, "Hello, is that Bob?" And the rest of the family. And he says, "Hello, I'm Bobby Ball. Rock on, Tommy, get the kettle on." So they did. And then Bobby Ball then proceeded to bring in all of the best toys from 1980 that any child could ever want. He'd got a lorry full of toys for Nikki, who at that stage, of course, was 8 years old and had just lost her dad in a car crash. Nikki is now 43, and 2 years ago met Bobby Ball at a show that he was doing. And of course, Bobby Ball remembered and gave her the biggest hug. And obviously they talked about that day back in 1980 when Bobby Ball turned up at her door with a lorry full of presents. And that is kindness.